Hi everyone! In this video, I'll be going over basic sentence structure. This video will explain how simple English sentences are formed and what are the different parts of speech in the different parts. This will help you improve your writing and reading comprehension because you'll understand how English is organized and structured. And some languages have similar sentence structure, but some languages have totally different. So this video can be really helpful for reading and also writing English sentences correctly. In this video, I'll go over what a simple sentence is and what it looks like, and then we're going to break it down. What is a subject, or what can be a subject? What are verbs? What are objects and complete thoughts? And front and end structures in sentences. So what things can go in the beginning and what things can go at the end. Okay, so let's take a look at two examples. Palomar College, a community college in San Marcos, California. Palomar College is a community college in San Marcos, California. Which one do you think is a sentence and why? If you answered the second one, that's the correct one. Number 2 is a sentence, but number 1 actually is not a complete sentence. Why? Sentence 2 has all the necessary components of a complete sentence. It has a subject, a verb, and a complete thought. Palomar College is the subject, is the verb, and a community college in San Marcos is my complete thought. And that's what makes it a complete sentence. This one right here was missing the verb. So I recommend taking out a piece of paper and taking some notes. To have a complete sentence, you need these 3 things. So write this down. You need a subject, a verb, and a complete thought. And we'll be going over what each of these 3 things are later in this video and in the slideshow. Also remember, to have a complete sentence, you also need to begin every sentence with a capital letter. This is true in some languages, and in other languages it's not necessary to have a capital letter. So it's important to know that in English that every sentence begins with a capital letter. End every sentence with a period, a question mark, or exclamation point. For example, education can open many doors for you. Education is my subject. Can open is the verb phrase. And what is it opening? Many doors for you. That's completing the thought in the sentence. And then remember, we have this capital letter, and then I'm ending it with a period. If you have a question, you would use a question mark, or if it's like an exclamation, like you're yelling something like, hey, or really excited, you would use exclamation. Okay, let's practice. How would you make this a sentence? We'll read an interesting book. We will read an interesting book. We want the subject, the verb, the action, and then the complete thought. What will we read? An interesting book. How would you make this a sentence? What's the subject? The students. What are they doing? Will read. And what are they reading? The book for homework. So we have a subject, verb, and complete thought. Let's go over each one. Subjects. What can be a subject? Basically, it's who or what does an action. Sometimes we call it an agent or an actor. It can be a noun phrase, like water is necessary for life. So it's like and it's always before the verb in sentences. Water is necessary for life. Natural spring water comes from the mountains. So this thing is the agent. It's what's coming from the mountains. We call this one a phrase because it's more than one. But this is a noun. Okay, noun phrase. Sometimes we have pronouns. I drink lots of water every day. So I is the pronoun. It's the actor. I'm doing the drinking. Sometimes we have gerunds as subjects. Drinking water helps you have a healthy body. So this action here helps you have a healthy body. A gerund is a verb with an ing, and we're using it kind of like a noun. So this action helps you have a healthy body. You can also have a noun clause as a subject. What I want is a cold glass of water. So what I want is my subject coming before the verb. One thing I wanted to mention is a prepositional phrase cannot be a subject. What's wrong with this sentence? In the book, describes a boy's life growing up in New York City. What's the subject? Who is describing a boy's life growing up? Is it the book? But it says in the book. So you can't, in English, you can't have like a preposition like in act like the subject of the sentence. You would need to say the book describes a boy's life growing up in New York City. You need a noun. You can't have a prepositional phrase. Or you could put a comma in the book, comma, and then put the subject. The author describes a boy's life growing up in New York City. So remember, a prepositional phrase cannot be a subject in English. And you have to have a subject in a sentence, in a complete sentence. Let's go over verbs. If you watched the previous video about parts of speech, we talked about how verbs show actions or state of beings. The verb goes after the subject in sentences. And they can be one or more words. I am an active person. My verb is am. It's a state of being. I exercise 5 days per week. Exercise is my verb. It's the action, and you see it's after the subject. He should have been exercising all week. This is an example of a longer verb phrase where it's 1, 2, 3, 4 words that are part of the verb. These are called helping verbs, should have been. Exercising is my main verb. After verbs, you can have an object. And an object is who or what receives an action. Sometimes we call it the recipient. And like subjects, they can be noun phrases or a noun. I eat salad every day. So what do I eat? Salad. It's like it's the thing receiving this action of eating. I is the subject, it's like the doer. Eating is the action, and then after the verb, it's like what's being eaten. It can be a pronoun. My brother doesn't like it, maybe referring to the salad. So it's going after the verb. It can be a gerund. He likes drinking soda. So likes is my verb, and this is the action, the activity. This is called a gerund as an object. And you can also have noun clauses. He ate what he was given. This is the object. In English sentences, you want to make sure you have a complete thought. But not all sentences have objects. So in the previous slide, I talked about objects. Not all verbs take objects. It depends on the verb. I woke up early. Here we don't have an object. It's not like I wrote a word. It's not, there's no object. It's just saying I woke up early. And some sentences have complements after the be verb. They're not objects. Like, I am dehydrated. I need some water. After a be verb, if there's an adjective, this is called like a complement. It's not an object. The important thing to remember is you need to complete the thought in your sentences. Water is, I have a subject, I have a verb, but I didn't finish my thought. I need to have a complete thought. It might be an object, it might be a complement, it could be a prepositional phrase or an adverb. Water is essential for human life. Here I have a complement, but I finished that thought. I drank. What did I drink? I drank 4 glasses of water. Here I have an object. Okay, so we talked about the basic structure of English sentences. Subject, verb, complete thought. I want to spend this last part of the video talking about the extra things that you can include in the front of a sentence, like before you begin your subject, and then also after your complete thought. You can put extra information in the front of sentences. Prepositional phrases like, since March, I have had a sore back. I is my subject, have had is my verb, a sore back is my complete thought, and this is sort of extra information. It's a prepositional phrase. You can have adverbs like yesterday, or clauses. Whenever I get a massage, my back feels a little bit better. And notice the punctuation. Oftentimes when you have these front structures, there's a comma. You can put all of these things also at the end of a sentence. And those are called in structures. I have had a sore back since March. I went to get a massage yesterday. My back feels a little bit better whenever I get a massage. So that extra information can go at the end. And notice there is no comma. Okay. I know there was a lot of information in this video, so don't worry if you don't have it all mastered and perfect. Come to class, ask me questions, and throughout the semester we'll work on improving your understanding of how basic sentences are formed, and also learning to correct or improve your writing so that you write grammatically correct sentences. Okay, bye everybody.